My work is directly relevant to the theme of this workshop, that I've worked on European Islamophobia, the racist discourses, and I've collected the data and I've talked and developed a framework for analyzing, situating, and explaining the European Islamophobia. However, the same framework can be utilized, can be situated to understand the Canadian form of Islamophobia. Islamophobia, the one that the people they are talking about here, and the one which is often referred to, it is limited to mosque vandalism. It is referred to this abusive or discriminatory practices that the people they have, the Muslim community. But when we compare this one, I mean, of course, all these things are present in Europe, and the European Islamophobia is marked by this, the whole thing. However, one more thing is that it is more institutionalized Islamophobia. That the state, in fact, has got certain, say, the practices which in a way, in many ways, promote Islamophobia in Europe. For example, in Germany, when we talk about, so Germans, they do not have the kind of this idea of the citizenship based on this, say, in the absence of race. So German citizenship was always based on race and culture. So if you do not have the German blood in your veins, you will not be accepted as a citizen. And if you look at the terms that they have been using, it was initially Ausländer, guest worker, Gastarbeiter that they talked about. Then they talked about Ausländers. The third one they talked about it is Ausländers mit Migration Hintergrund, migration background. And today, when they talk about the citizen, they say it Mitbürger, fellow citizen, not a complete citizen. So you can always be regarded as a Pakistani German or a Syrian German, which perhaps in the case of Canada would not be an official term to talk about or to refer to. So institutionalization on one hand is this, that you have different terms or the names to talk about to denote different citizens. The secondly, it is all about surveillance, monitoring, profiling that we find in Europe. And the Muslim communities, they feel themselves the subject of this kind of racism or the Islamophobia. And the timing of this workshop is very significant. If we look at, and the one that talk that was mentioned here, it was about the president-elect Donald Trump in America, and of course the American policies definitely influence the Canadian, and it is not only the state-to-state relations. American media and American social attitude, these are some of the other, these are exported or transported to Canada as well. And the Canadian society is influenced by that discourse. So on one hand, we see this, the global discourse about Islamophobia. Secondly, this the North American case where the Americans, they are talking about the Islamophobia thing. And then we look at this, the Canadian situation, which is slowly changing or deteriorating towards the racist attitude. So that makes this workshop and the whole idea very relevant and significant. And it is very important to have these workshops on regular basis with these professionals who have come here so that they may be sensitized to the subject, as well as they are given the training in understanding that what's going on not only in Calgary or Alberta but around the world.